The Zephyrian warfleet descended through Earth's atmosphere like falling stars, their crystalline hulls gleaming against the pale morning sky. Admiral Kextar stood on the bridge of his flagship, mandibles clicking with satisfaction as he observed the primitive blue world below. Intelligence reports had painted these humans as a weak, divided species, perfect candidates for subjugation. "Begin the demonstration," Kextar commanded, his 6 arms gesturing toward the tactical display. "Target their largest population centers. A show of force will break their spirit quickly." The first plasma bolts lanced down from orbit, striking what appeared to be military installations. Kextar expected panic, surrender broadcasts, perhaps desperate pleas for mercy. Instead, his communications officer's antennae drooped in confusion. "Admiral, we're receiving unusual transmissions from the surface. Surrender terms?" Kextar asked hopefully. "No, sir. They appear to be mocking us?" Before Kextar could respond, the tactical display erupted in warnings. Missiles, crude by Zephyrian standards but alarmingly numerous, screamed up from the planet's surface. The Admiral watched in disbelief as his outer perimeter ships vanished in nuclear fire. "Impossible," he chittered. "Our intelligence said they barely achieved interplanetary travel." What Kextar's intelligence had failed to mention was humanity's peculiar relationship with warfare. While the Zephyrians had evolved on a peaceful garden world, becoming conquerors only through technological superiority, humans had spent millennia perfecting the art of killing each other with increasingly creative methods. Dr. Sarah Chen watched the alien ships from the emergency command center deep beneath NORAD. Around her, officers coordinated with military installations worldwide, their voices calm despite the unprecedented situation. "Beijing reports successful deployment of Project Dragonfly," announced Colonel Martinez. "Moscow confirms Tsar protocol is active. London says the Excalibur satellites are in position." Sarah almost smiled. For decades, Earth's nations had built weapons of terrifying power while publicly calling for peace. Now, faced with a common enemy, every secret project, every classified weapon, every experimental technology was being unleashed at once. Above them, Admiral Kextar was learning a harsh lesson about human ingenuity. The crude missiles had been merely the opening act. Now came the real surprises. Directed energy weapons that humanity had theorized but never deployed suddenly blazed from hidden installations. Railguns fired projectiles at relativistic speeds. Experimental particle beams, previously confined to laboratory settings, carved through Zephyrian armor like tissue paper. But the humans weren't finished. "Sir," the Zephyrian communications officer reported, voice trembling, "we're detecting massive electromagnetic pulses from major population centers. They're using their own cities as weapons platforms." Kextar's compound eyes widened as he realized the truth. The humans hadn't just hidden their weapons. They had turned their entire civilization into one massive military installation. Every city, every structure, every seemingly innocent piece of infrastructure had been designed with warfare in mind. The Zephyrian fleet found itself caught in a web of destruction they had never imagined possible. Orbital mines, previously undetected, began exploding around their ships. Ground-based lasers, powered by entire cities' worth of energy grids, reached into space with impossible precision. In his desperation, Kextar ordered a full assault, throwing everything he had at the planet. Surely overwhelming force would break these insane creatures. Instead, he discovered humanity's most terrifying trait. They got stronger under pressure. Major Harrison, blood streaming from a head wound, coordinated the defense of New York from a half-collapsed bunker. "Fire control, this is ground zero. We've lost the primary laser array, but auxiliary systems are online. Target the flagship, paint that bastard for the Moscow strike." Across the globe, similar scenes played out. Damaged installations came back online with backup systems that had backups of their own. Civilian populations, instead of fleeing in panic, formed militia units with weapons that made the Zephyrian ground forces look like toys. The Admiral watched in horror as his invasion force was systematically dismantled. These humans didn't just resist, they counterattacked with a ferocity that defied all logic. When their cities were damaged, they fought from the ruins. When their governments were targeted, citizens formed new command structures in minutes. Then came the final insult. "Admiral," his science officer whispered, "we're detecting new launches from the surface. But these aren't weapons." Kextar looked at the display, confusion replacing his mounting panic. What are they? They appear to be construction vessels, sir. The humans are building something in orbit, around our position. Sarah Chen allowed herself a grim smile as she watched the feeds from the hastily launched construction platforms. Humanity's other great talent besides warfare was engineering. And right now, they were building a cage around the alien fleet with the same terrifying efficiency they had shown in defending their world. Within hours, the Zephyrian fleet found itself trapped within a growing lattice of human-built structures. Weapons platforms, certainly, but also boarding tubes, docking clamps, and communication arrays. Admiral Kekstar received his final transmission from the surface that day. A human female appeared on his screen, her expression neither hostile nor merciful, simply matter-of-fact. Admiral, this is Dr. Sarah Chen, speaking for the United Earth Defense Council. Your invasion has failed. Your fleet is now contained. You have two choices: surrender unconditionally, or we demonstrate why humanity conquered a death world and called it home. Kekstar looked around his bridge at his terrified crew, then at the growing human construction surrounding his fleet. In all his species' military history, they had never encountered anything like this. The humans hadn't just defended themselves. They had turned his own invasion into an opportunity to expand their presence in space. What do you want?" he managed to ask. The human's expression didn't change. Your complete technological database, your star charts, the location of your homeworld, and your fleet's unconditional surrender. In return, we won't turn your ships into scrap metal and your crews into prisoners of war. As additional human vessels launched from the surface, not just military craft, but mining ships, colony vessels, and exploration platforms, Kekstar realized the terrible truth. The humans hadn't just repelled an invasion. They had found their ticket to the stars, and they were going to make very sure no one ever made the mistake of underestimating Earth again.